Welcome, guys. Many of you probably know me. This is John Finnegan with Noise Barriers. Been here a long time, since the beginning, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the QuietPivot product, roughly what it's all about, where to use it. So here we go. So I'm introducing, it's a commercialization, reintroducing, as we've done it a couple of times, but now we're really marketing it and putting it out there for designers, specifiers, reps, etc., to feel more comfortable using. And it's an addition to our Noise Barriers door line, and it's a center pivot system. I'm just going to preface this by saying we do have a side pivot, but I am refraining from using that in this presentation because it's rather unique. So for this whole presentation, it's our center pivot system. It's as I say, it's a flawless visual profile with ease of use, flexibility, and operation. We've put this into several theater applications, performing arts centers, dividing social reception, drink, cocktail, sit around like you see in this picture area from a small presentation or an entranceway into a small dance theater or a small solo artist type thing, where they didn't want to use a track wall. And I'll get into the benefits of it or differences of it. Super easy to use, super flexible in its operation. You'll see some from photos and diagrams that you have a lot of versatility in how you set up the space with the product and where you're likely going to want to use it. It's definitely a specific product for a specific application. So you can see here in this picture, it's dividing the main reception area, and you'll see on a theater. This is kind of a cool matte finish. I'm rambling. I'm excited about it. It's a real cool product. So what we're going to do is I'll talk to you about where the design comes from. It's a proven design. Independent stationary door panels, as you can see from the photo, everyone pivots on its center axis. No closets, storage trolleys, no unjacking, jacking up to move. You simply pivot the door. Talk a little bit about the door panel construction frame system. It'll look familiar to many of you. Installation, highlights of that, some of the hardware that we typically use on it, and it's a very architectural type, simple hardware. Finishing operations, it's very conducive to doing a lot with it after it's installed, and then system performance. So first, you might look quickly at the picture. You can recognize that it's a double magnetic seal system, and it swings on a single located level swing pivot, not a cam lift system. This particular one swings level. Fourth bullet point, because of that extremely low coefficient of friction, you can open these panels with just 2 fingers, sometimes too easily. But it's a double magnetic seal, cycle tested from the pivot manufacturer itself. We utilize our split frame system for both the jambs up each side of the overall opening and for the header. Clean look, both sides, no hinges, just like you would see on one of our double doors from the pull side, where you have a nice reveal. That's what you get on both sides of this. So there's no built-in astragal systems that would bump out. And then options for opening. You can open 1 door, 2, all 4 of them, as you saw in that previous picture, or in series. So it really kind of lets, not only is it a space delineator, but it can direct flow between the 2 spaces as you see fit or is best for that day. Each of these doors is an independent door panel. The drawing on the left shows a typical elevation and then top view of a 4-panel system, open 90 degrees for straight egress in and out. No doubt, no angles or anything. We can do a system up to 8 panels. This particular drawing shows 4. Door panels can get pretty substantial. We try to take an opening, divide it equally, and then pick the best size panel for segmenting it. But the width panels can be 3 foot to 6 foot wide, so it can be a fairly wide panel or fairly narrow if it's a smaller opening. Kind of architect, designer preference there a little bit. And then the height can be 6 foot to 12 foot. We're trying to stay under 12 foot applications at this point. So it's for smaller arenas like you've seen in a couple of pictures of this drawing, not track wall 20 foot to the ceiling. We're not there yet. Give us time. Open position, as I mentioned, super easy to open, and it will open itself. It will spin on that axis effortlessly, 0 to 90 degrees. And you can position the door at any angle you'd like, 45 if that's what you're after, 30 degrees, pick your angle. So it's super user-friendly on the look that you want to have when it's in the open position. Real quick, just for your reference, there's a picture of just opening one side at one end of a 4-panel pivot. So we're directing people along the window wall there as opposed to just wide open. Your choice. You could even open the middle one if you'd like. That's a courtesy of one of our reps who was kind enough to do our very first one with us. I just noticed him pop on. Thought I'd give a kudo. These are kind of, it's a very application specific. It's not the wall for every use because it does not get out of the way. But if you don't have closet space, in the picture we saw before, you can see one side is up against the mullion and the other side was up against the concrete wall. They didn't have space for closeting and they didn't want to build one out. So that's an application where it's a perfect fit. It's a relatively straightforward, simple system to design in with the architect designer in the fact that it just requires one structural header beam for each one of the center pivots to mount to. The drawing there shows section views at the pivot. The one on the left is at the pivot showing the anchoring pins going up into the steel. And then the other is a section midway through the door where those blocks are in the background and you can see the seal system engaging at the header and the sill on each side of the door. Get back to that. And then on the concrete floor, the same thing. You can just have a small relief in the concrete pad for mounting it, almost like a grout box you would have for a column. Same thing for these blocks. It can mount directly to the concrete, or in some cases, in fact, on the picture you saw, it mounted to a steel substructure underneath there with a very thin concrete floor over the top. Only rotates on that y-axis, as you've seen, single rotating pivot, self-adjusting bottom seal, and really the beauty of it is you can open that space by simply pushing open 4 doors. I touched on it before. There's no, jacking, sliding stuff into closets. They just spin 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're ready to go, or just one. Frame and leaf design probably looks familiar to many of you on here. The whole system was derived from Noise Barrier's Quiet Swing, double magnetic seal, factory installed split frame system. We just kind of put it on steroids here for a unique application. So that split frame can still adapt to whatever wall or mullion situation you're dealing with. And then the sills in the head and each door engagement utilizes a continuous factory installed perimeter magnetic seal system. So you get a double mag seal. It's a thicker door than that 2.5-inch door you guys are used to seeing. It's a 5-inch door, one for structural support, two to accommodate the pivot block within the door panel. We don't want anything like that showing or sticking out. It would kind of ruin the aesthetics that we're after with this product. Ships fully assembled in the sense that each leaf has its seals factory installed on the frame and the door panels, so there's no fiddling with those in the field. All seals are installed in the factory, as I said, frame and door. Frame system since sectioned. If you're doing a 20, 30, 40 foot, we're not about to send you a header section that long. Everything will be up to that 12-foot length that I discussed on the height, and then we'll segment the header frame as best fit so that it's a nice uniform look. Obviously maximizing as much as we can for as few joint seals as we have. The door mounts with pivot blocks internal, top and bottom. So we have a small access panel in both locations because you have to install that pivot block real time as you're putting up the door. So you have to have access into there and then you just close that back up. You could certainly cover it with doing your millworks later, because once you install this, you're not uninstalling it. I can't imagine why. So it's a coverable access panel if you wanted to, but we still go ahead and try to make it as aesthetically blind as we can. Threshold is desired. You can see in some of the pictures you've seen that most desire not to have it. We'd like to have it, but it kind of ruins the purpose of the ADA and smooth flow if somebody's got to bump over a threshold. So if you can't have a threshold in your application, we're just fine designing around that. We can do that. Hardware. This example shows that space going into the theater. I've seen none or these long pull bars, both architecturally pleasing. You know, if there's pull bars throughout the building, an architect's going to want to match them, absolutely no problem. There's no severe loading on those handles. And you'd have it on both sides if you desire. They just put it on one side for control here. I will say, I mentioned how you can open it from 0 to 90 easily. If you're setting it for traffic flow, we encourage using a slide bolt pin into the floor at 0, 90, and maybe 45 degrees, because if you do hit it, it will move a little bit, and then you wouldn't have that look like you see in this picture. So set pin locations for locking it into place with a slide bolt right at the very edge of the door, almost like a kick down bolt, is highly encouraged. And kind of coasting in here a little bit for you. Finishing options, you can see this is one of the first ones we did, and they put millwork on it. The way it's center pivoted like that, it's absolutely no problem to put a substantial 1 inch, 2 inch type millwork on both sides of it. You're not overloading any kind of a hinge. We can supply it depending on the width with a factory wood veneer completely across the door. I would hesitate to do that on the 6 foot, but on a 3 or 4 foot panel, absolutely no problem. We veneer in-house now and stain in-house, so we have full control of that, and it's clearly an option here. Or you could even apply field fabric rack panels on one side if you've got a hard space on one side and you want to get some absorption into there. It's easily, you can do that. You don't have to worry about interfaces from the other leaf or a wall when it's in the open position. And a powder coated finish would give you this look, super smooth, techy, kind of clean. It matches the rest of the studio. This would be, broadcast on one side and people mulling around on the other side, or segmenting 2 particular types of studios. We're rating this door. It gets an STC 45. Here's the test data down below. It's a 5 inch thick, 2.5 double magnetic seal door. You'd say, well, our bread and butter 50, 51, 52, we get that done in 2.5 inches. This door suffers from a lot of perimeter seal interfacing and top, bottom, head, and sill. So there's many more areas for issues, as we can all imagine, getting all those corners and all those bottom seals to interface. So it's difficult to get this door, into the 50s, 54s, 55s, but it's a great door at 45. If the application's right, the space is right, your various restrictions, it's, as they say, the right door for the right job. So appreciate it. Tried to move right along there and kind of get you guys the point. Know it exists. Know we're pretty flexible in the sizes, the applications. And once again, think of noise barriers for a unique application or solve a problem that you guys might have. So I appreciate it. Thanks for your time, guys. Hope everybody has a good day. And I'll talk to you soon. Again, you can email me here if you have specific questions or want something. Thanks very much. Bye.